I stopped talking to my best friend after she excluded me from her wedding, even though I thought we were inseparable. I found myself doubting our entire friendship and questioning whether she ever cared about me as much as I cared about her. My best friend didn't invite me to her wedding, and now I'm left wondering if any of it mattered. So, I'm Olivia, 29 female, and my coworker Hannah, 31 female, has been my friend since we were kids. We grew up on the same street, went to the same schools, and when I finished university and needed a job, Hannah let me know about an opening at her company. I applied, got it, and now we've been colleagues for years. Our company is pretty small and very male-dominated. So once we started working together, we naturally became super close. We ate lunch together every single day, stopped by each other's desks all the time to chat, and we quickly got this reputation as the pair you'd always spot together. A year ago, Hannah got engaged to her long-term boyfriend, and I was so happy for her. She'd been through a rough patch a few years back after losing 2 family members close together, and I did everything I could to support her through that. She'd break down with me for weeks, and I always made sure to be there to listen. I even took on about a third of her work, so she could take the time off she needed and not worry about things piling up. It made me genuinely happy to see her smile again and be excited as she started planning her new life. Ever since her engagement, Hannah's talked non-stop about wedding plans, especially over lunch. I knew every nitty-gritty detail. But when she booked the venue, she wouldn't tell me where it was. She just said she wanted it to be a surprise when the invitations were sent. Now the wedding's in 2 weeks, and well, my invitation still hasn't shown up. I definitely know when they were delivered, because Hannah told me the whole process, and every day since, she's shown me the gifts people picked for her from her registry. Honestly, I feel silly admitting it, but the more I think about not being included, the more it hurts. It's a big wedding, and she invited other coworkers, even some who I didn't realize she was close with. There's never been an explanation about why I wasn't invited, and now it just feels too awkward to ask. It's like a slap in the face because I really thought we were close friends, but now I wonder if I was just fooling myself. Since this all went down, I started really scrutinizing our friendship. I kept thinking of all the times I helped her with decisions, listened to her vent, stood by her when she had issues with colleagues, and did all sorts of small things for her, like always saving her a piece of cake if she was out of the office. But I can't really recall her ever showing the same care for me. Lately, I've noticed that when she talks to me, she doesn't really listen. I'll finish saying something, and she'll just pick up right where she left off, as if I never even spoke. If the conversation is about me, it just ends up circling back to her almost immediately. It makes me feel like she never really cared. I was just convenient to talk at, but it never mattered exactly who I was. I put years into this friendship, and now I feel used. On top of it all, work has gotten super lonely since I started distancing myself. I stopped having lunch with her, and if she tries to chat, I politely cut it short and get back to my tasks. She doesn't seem to have noticed at all. Even still, I wish her well, and I am glad she's happy, but I feel lost. Am I being too harsh just because I'm hurt? Or maybe I don't even have the right to be hurt. After all, there's only so much room at a wedding, and sometimes people just don't make the cut. But I don't see a clear way back from this. Has anyone else been through something like this? Am I just being overdramatic, or am I right to feel so let down? Should I just let some time pass and see where things go? Edit 1. Clarifying a few things. First, Hannah hand-delivered invitations to other colleagues, so I know mine wasn't lost in the mail. Second, I haven't asked her about it because honestly, I'm terrible with confrontation and avoid tough conversations. Third, she came to my wedding years ago, but maybe she thinks things have changed since then. Edit 2. Wow, I never expected this much attention or my first Reddit gold. Thank you, kind stranger. I read every comment. And I appreciate every bit of advice and perspective you all have offered. The consensus seems pretty split on whether I should talk with Hannah about the wedding invite or just let it go. My plan is to make sure it wasn't some sort of mistake, but I'm still unsure if I should ask for an explanation. I'll think it over a bit and decide how to proceed, but everyone's thoughts have been super helpful. On the broader topic of our friendship, I'm trying not to make any rash decisions. I want to put my feelings aside and see if I'm right about it being one-sided. If I am, then I'll chalk it up as a life lesson. If it's worth saving, I'll figure out how to do that. But a recurring theme in the comments, which I want to work on, is my general unease with confrontation. I've walked away from friendships before when I felt hurt because I just couldn't say anything, and that's not fair to anyone. When I do have to have a tough conversation, I just freeze up, my mouth goes dry, my hands shake, and I can't get out what I want to say. If it's gotten to the point where I can't ask my closest friend a simple question, I know now I need to do something about it. I appreciate people pointing out that this is an issue, and I'll work hard to improve. I'll update you all on what happens. Thank you again. Update: it took me a few days to figure out how to handle this. But yesterday I had lunch with Hannah and decided to broach the subject. I opened with, "So, you've got all your invitations out." She immediately looked panicked. That's when I knew she really didn't want to go down this road. She confirmed, and I asked, "Does that mean I can see the venue now?" She showed me the venue's website with the photo gallery and explained where everything would happen. Flowers, decorations, the works. It's a nice country hotel with pretty gardens. But now I don't get what all the secrecy was about. I asked who she'd invited from work, and as she listed people, I wasn't included. I said I was looking forward to seeing all the pictures, just to see how it turned out. She didn't correct me by saying I'd see it on the day, and at that point I was fully certain my invitation's not coming. She looked super relieved when I changed the subject and chatted about her honeymoon instead. So I'm definitely not invited. I thought about asking why, but ultimately decided not to, for 3 reasons. 1, the answer is pretty clear. She sees me as just a coworker now. I clearly misjudged our closeness. Sure, people suggested things like her fiancé being jealous or not wanting reminders of her grief, but knowing Hannah, that doesn't fit. I'm not sure why she kept going on and on about the wedding or didn't just have a frank talk with me, but here we are. 2, I don't want to create drama at work. If I push this, I'm scared of looking needy or unprofessional, or risk her gossiping about me to others. Honestly, it feels less messy to keep my feelings to myself. This is a once-in-a-lifetime moment for Hannah, and I don't want to spoil it or bring her down in any way. Better to let her enjoy and build happy memories. And honestly, I'm okay with not going. For me, it was never about attending a wedding. It was about coming to terms with the fact that I gave too much to a friendship where I wasn't valued. That part's on me, since she never had to be my friend if she didn't want it. Actually, posting about it helped me process a lot. And when I went to work Monday, I was a lot calmer. Looking back, Hannah's always been self-absorbed and a bit entitled. Getting married just made it more obvious. Besides getting me my job, which I'm grateful for, she's never really helped me out or had my back. Even though I saw that she wasn't always nice, she had enemies in the office. I brushed it off and defended her anyway. Now, with some distance, it's clear she's just not a good friend. I'm genuinely okay with moving on. She hasn't really noticed, or she has and is relieved, so I'll just keep doing what I'm doing. If she ever comes to me to talk about our friendship or tries to rekindle things, I'll lay out exactly how I feel. If we just keep drifting apart, maybe that's for the best. It's sad to lose someone you thought was a friend, and I probably need time to process the change in our relationship. But I do have other real friends, plus plenty of great colleagues I can get to know better. The main lesson I took from this, and why I'm really glad I posted here, is that I need to deal with my fear of confrontation. If I can learn to say what I feel in the moment, problems won't keep piling up until I melt down. I also have to find a way to have tough conversations without spiraling into anxiety, because that's not just unhelpful, it's unfair to both me and others. People recommended a few books on assertiveness, so I got them, and I'm looking into getting a coach or a couple of therapy sessions to work on this. I never want to hurt anyone else by bottling things up like this, so making progress is my #1 priority. Thanks to everyone who pointed this out. I kind of knew it was a problem, but never thought I could change. Now I realize I have to. I also appreciate the advice on one-sided friendships. I've always been a good listener, so maybe I attract people who just want to vent and don't give as much back. I've been reassessing my other friendships too, looking for any similar patterns or even times where the roles might have been reversed without me realizing. There are definitely a couple of friendships where I need firmer boundaries, and at least one where I owe the other person more effort. I learned a really important lesson about keeping relationships healthy, and I'm grateful for that. That brings this story to a close. This story seems like a classic example of mismatched expectations and the importance of boundaries in friendships. Sometimes, quietly stepping away can bring clarity both about others and about our own patterns. Here is a question for you. Have you ever realized a friendship was more one-sided than you thought? And what did you do about it? Share your stories below.